So we got the fuselage basically all sanded. Alright. I utilized 220 grit sandpaper on the block, right? And just basically went over the entire surface and just scuffed it down, took off the sheen. Now, the skim coat, the saturation coat, the skim coat at the end, all right? This is what the skim coat's gonna do, all right? Look at the weaves. You can barely see the weave. It's very smooth. The minute I put primer on this, guys, you're not gonna find pinholes. You're not gonna see the weave, you know? All I did was saturation coat, let it tack, then skim coat, remove all the excess resin, leaving behind just the weave, right? The filled in weave. But you took off all the resin as much as you could, right? Let that completely cure, come back, 220 grit, 320 grit sandpaper, block it down, and there you go. Look how smooth that is. All right, look at that. You don't see no divots, you don't see no pinholes, right? It's all smooth. If you look at it, it's smooth. All right, all the way to the back, the front, all the way around, smooth. All right, so all we're gonna have to do from here is use the surface cleaner. All right, wipe it all down, mask off whatever I don't want to get painted, primered, and then we're just gonna shoot the primer. Now I decided to go ahead and utilize this as a primer. All right, I'm not always gonna use a 2-part or a 2K or whatever. You know, I just decided to go ahead and just use a regular rattle can primer. All right, and this will basically work. All right, so I'm going to utilize it. This one's dark gray. All right, dark flat gray as a matter of fact. So I'm going to utilize this all over and primer it up, and then from there this is going to be a light primer coat. We're just going to wet sand it lightly, and then we're going to go ahead and start marking out the panel lines, and from there we will primer it one more time, right? And then wet sand lightly, then start doing the rivets, then we'll just clean it off and shoot the main color. All right, so what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm gonna glue on this radiator scoop thing, alright, because I'm going to make this radiator scoop kind of look like one piece onto the fuselage. And what I'm going to do there is I'm going to add, as you can see, I kind of did this little doohickey thing, right? I'm going to paint this black, and what I'm going to do is I got this outline already here. Alright, I'm going to put 30mm epoxy all up in the edge right about here. I'm going to be very generous, and then we're going to flip it back down like this and lay it on top, and let all that 30mm epoxy kind of dissipate and seep down into the edge there. Alright, we're just going to tape it down just like so, and once it's all said and done and it's all cured, we are going to take some body filler, and we're just gonna, just like how we do caulking in the bathroom and stuff like that, we're just gonna lay a bead right there between the fuselage and the plastic part, and then we're just gonna smooth it out and kind of give it that look like it was part of this fuselage. Alright, so pretty much that's the idea behind that. And then later on we're going to go ahead and outline the fillet area, and we're going to give that body line separation on the fillet, as well as the between the horizontal stab and vertical fin where it joins. There's a little panel that kind of gives it that look as if it was covering the horizontal stab. I'm gonna use a little bit of body filler to imitate that line. All right, so I'm gonna do all this before we go ahead and add primer, and then yeah, we're gonna see how that turns out. Got some wax and grease remover right here. And this one is by Finish One. All right, surface cleaner. It's basically Prepsol wax and grease remover. Those of you in the automotive world should know about that. And so what I did prior to all this off camera, well, it's kind of like a week ago or so, 120 grit sandpaper, and I scuffed the whole inside here, this whole lip, kind of made it very rough to include this top piece right here and all the way around. All right, so I'm gonna put epoxy up here too as well, and I'm gonna have all that epoxy just gravitate down into the fuse as well on top of that. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and utilize some wax and grease remover to clean the surfaces prior to adding any type of body filler or epoxy. All right, so just gonna clean the surface here. Any type of grease, grime and stuff prevent this from adhering properly, as well as the fiberglass. There you go, just like that. Alright, so while that's drying, let's go ahead and start mixing up some 30 ml epoxy here. Alright, so we got 30 ml epoxy. I'm going to go ahead and be very generous. I'm going to apply it all up in here. Alright, so from here we're just going to put this down on my line that I made earlier, just like so. Just let all that epoxy just come out. Whoops. Let's go wipe all that excess epoxy off here. There we go. Just align this really good. So I'm going to go ahead and put this right here. This right here. Too. Sure everything is good. All right, so just like that, that's it. So today basically what we're doing is we're just going off of the two view drawing here and back of the instruction manual. There's a lot of photo references online and stuff like that, but you know what, I'm just gonna make this as simple as possible, because yet, even as simple as it is, it's still a lot of work. Alright, but it's fun work. So what I did so far was I made the outline for the fillet area, right, and then right underneath and around the horizontal stab and the vertical fin area. Alright, so I made those lines because those are the most I would say they're pretty much the panel lines that kind of stand out a lot. Alright, if you really look at the P40, because you see the outline of the fillet area with the rivets, right, and then also on the tail fin area, you have this panel line, and it's kind of raised a little, all right, and it kind of goes up here, and it has a nice curvature slightly right in this area. All right, so we're gonna fill that in with body filler. All right, it's not gonna be a lot, very little. I'm just gonna make it about about a masking tape thickness. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place masking tape on the outer perimeter. Right, so there's gonna be one layer, and then all up in here, only exposing the centerpiece, and then I'll fill that in with body filler and sand that body filler down to the level of the tape. All right, when you pull the tape off, you should have a thickness of body filler the same thickness as the tape. All right, so that will give me the distinguishable line that I'm looking for, and also for the wing fillet. It's 1/16 thick. It's going to be pretty much laid out as you see all up on here. All right, and we're going to do the primer method, and then we'll pull this off, and we'll have that panel line separation. I got some 1/4 inch, no, it's about 1/8 inch thick painter's tape, well, automotive tape, and all I did was verify based off the plans or the drawing here, and I didn't break it down based off the scale or anything like that. I just looked at this and looked at the model and did one side, right, just by eyeballing it, and then I took this measurements from here to here to here to here, here to here, and I transferred it to the opposite side so that I can also get the same line. All right, and then all I did was just run the tape to those marks and eyeballed it like you're doing pinstripe. This is what I'm going to try to emulate. All right, and then as well as the wing fillet, as you can see, I got it kind of outlined. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and also fill this slightly with a little bit of body filler. The reason why the tape is there is basically to use as a gauge. So the thickness of the tape is going to be the thickness of my panel line. All right, it should be thick enough to give that illusion, yet not so thick that it's going to add so much weight. All right, so we got this high fill body filler, all right, from Home Depot, or you can use your regular automotive type body filler, which mine is a few years old and it's already getting hard, and so you know, what a waste. But that's this one. All right, this is what I normally use, and I still got about this much in it. It's just it's getting hard already because it's already going on 2 years old, so I don't want to worry about that. So I'll just go ahead and use this one I got from Home Depot. All right. basically this is what we got going on. Alright, so I use my finger there to kind of give it that curve, right? And we're just gonna basically, once this cures, we're gonna sand this body filler to the top portion of this tape. And that will give us the uniform thickness that we're looking for as an outline. Alright, that goes over to the bottom as well. I'm gonna take care of all that. Put this on here real quick. Looks all discombobulated right now. Looks like a whole bunch of everything going on here, but it is what it is. Alright, so just a little bit of spot putty just to fill in all the little pinholes from the body filler. It's not that bad. Alright, the body line, alright, it is not thick, it's just one tape thickness, so not thick at all. Alright. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to get the outline of the rudder and elevator technically, and what I'm doing is I'm trying to get the ribs to kind of give that rib look, you know. If I pre-planned this better, what I would have done was, instead of sanding the ribs completely flat, I would have kind of had rounded it off just a tad bit, keeping it a little higher at the ends. That way when you cover it, the material would actually conform to the ribs, giving it that rib look. Alright, well, it's already said and done, so what I'm doing is adding these little strips of Ortex that I cut out like this, and I'm just ironing it on top of the rib, of each rib. So I'm doing a cap right here in the leading edge on the top, and then adding the strips like this. Alright, and then it's not noticeable right now, but when I paint it from the side view, top view, rear, whatever, you would see the raised areas. Alright, so that's basically what I'm doing. Well, at least attempting to do, giving it a try. I never, like I said, this is the first time I ever used Ortex, so I know it could be adhered to itself, so giving it a try. So as you can see right here, I'm putting this one strip of Ortex right up top here at the leading edge area. I'm just going to iron this down. All the way about to the tip, right about here. Alright. So we're just going to iron this down really well. Alright, and here we'll just cut this piece off like that. Alright. And we'll just go ahead and really iron down the edge. The first strip. We'll go ahead and just put this, butt it up against this piece, making sure it's directly on top of that rib. Alright, so that's pretty much what I'm doing. Alright, so what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be adding some rivets. Alright, I just got one of these empty paint bottles, and what I did was I put one of the CA tip applicators right smack in there, and filled up in here is basically Tite Bond, alright, wood glue. That's what's inside there. Alright, and what this is going to do, this is going to give me my rivets. Alright, so what I'm going to be doing here is I'm just going to be adding drops. Try to be consistent in my size, so in other words, the amount that I squeeze, I want to try to be consistent with it. So just like that. It's not gonna be much. There is a lot of rivets on the true scale aircraft, the real aircraft, right? But we're not gonna do that. We're not going that route. That's all we're doing. All right, moving on. Alright guys, so what we're doing is basically wet sanding the primer. All you have to do from here is just Now sand the primer smooth so that your final paint will be smooth. Now in this case I'm using Rustnoleum specialty paints rattle can, but still, regardless, I prep all my paint schemes the same way, you know, with that in mind. Alright guys, see, and that's it. Just basically that. Take your rag and just wipe it off, you know, just because you don't want to use any like grease and wax removers on this paint, because this is rattle can and it's gonna eventually come off, smear off and stuff. So if anything, use alcohol to clean this up when it's ready to paint. And just like that, you know, that is smooth, very smooth. All right, you don't see no weaves, you don't see no pinholes. I'm not here with spot putty. And this is primer, guys. This is primer. This is not actual paint. You know, this is not the main coat. This is just regular primer. All right, but look at that, smooth, smooth, smooth. All right, the only one that's not gonna be smooth is the wing fillet area, because this is body filler. All right, and when you use body filler, tend to build pocket holes and stuff like that, or little pinholes and stuff. So we still got to go through this and fill it up with little spot putty or spackling. You know, I prefer spot putty because spackling, like let's say if I put spackling here right now and it dries and I'm coming over to mask, I'm using some masking tape or whatever, and then I pull the masking off, you'll tend to pull the spackling off as well. All right, unless you dilute the you saturate the spackling with like thin CA and stuff, but I'm not gonna do that at this point, because then I'm gonna have this area that I still need to sand, and I'm already done with the final shaping and sanding. So if I do that, I'm gonna have to really get some coarse grit sandpaper and really try to get that smear stain out, you know. And so we're not doing that. I'm just going to use regular automotive spot and glaze or spot putty, and just fill in all these little minor pinholes that's on the body filler area on this fillet. As far as the glass is concerned, we are good here. It's smooth. All right, I'm not having to fill nothing there. What's sanding? And I don't care if I take off some primer like here, there's no problem. Just like that. So the main thing is getting this thing all wet sanded. Right. See that? You know, this right here is all rough, only because the primer. Alright, that's primer overspray. So when you're spraying like the tail and all that stuff, all that overspray is going here, and you know, it's causing it to get rough. So you can tack it, you know, in the middle of spraying, but wasn't worried about it. So because I know we're gonna do this. And so that's the reason also why we're wet sanding, is because of that, the overspray and all that stuff, and you get that roughness on the from the primer. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and wet sand that just like this, and all that is gonna be gone, and it's gonna be smooth. But you know, it is dry right now to a certain degree, but fully cured will be a little bit more than 24 hours, just to be on the safe side. So you hear all that? That's the roughness but then you can hear it now, it's beginning to get smooth. Alright. And now it should be smooth. Just like that. Smooth like a baby's bottom. And you can also see the different, you know, the coloration and stuff. See, now it's smooth. You don't hear that. You don't hear that. It's nice and smooth now. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and continue doing this. I don't think I need to keep recording and, you know, bring you guys along on this part. So we're going to go ahead and take care of the rest off camera, guys. Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and wipe this fuselage down with some rubbing alcohol. I'm just using this 70% alcohol. Alright. And a clean rag, brand spanking new rag. This is a microfiber cloth. Remove that so I don't cause any scratches. Try to get it to the smooth side. Alright, I'm just gonna soak this in there. Alright, I'm just going to pretty much wipe it down. Alright, just like that. Wiping everything down. If I don't continue to put in the contaminants, I might. Yeah. Majority, it's all about the prep, guys. And I hate to have paint-related issues, man. I tell you, to get this panel lines, and we're gonna go based off the reference on the manual. Or what did I put the manual? There it is. So we're gonna go based off of this. All right. So we're gonna follow all these panel lines. And we're just gonna measure it on there and take care of that. I don't know what scale this is, but there's a calculation formula type deal where you get this scale and you go based off your 1/7 scale and break down the measurements and everything. But we're not doing that. We're just gonna eyeball this. All right. I got my, what is that thing, seamstress tape measure thing, and we're going to use this. We're going to start laying down the tape. Alright, so we got the measurements here. Only thing, the downfall of this tape sometimes is it has what you call this. Here and then pull the tape. In a perfect world, really hard to see. Should get my light. dark gray and black, you know, is difficult to see. This one here. Try not to stretch. And this one go right up here. One more on there. Alright, so this is going to be my line for this. So this process here can take a long time. So you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do this off camera. Basically getting my reference off of the drawing here. And kind of just transferring that over to the plane. So I'm gonna do all these lines here as the wing and everything, but right now we're mainly concentrating on the fuselage, so all those lines I'm gonna put on here. Alright, so let me go ahead and knock that out and we'll come back with all the lines on. Alright guys, so this is what I got so far. About a good 30 minutes. Technically the right side of the fuse done. Alright, now from here, there's little things like let's say the little square right in there, little triangle thing, you know, I know that's for the fuel. And my exhaust stack, which I'm waiting for in the mail. I'm not going to be utilizing this exhaust stack that comes with the kit, unfortunately not. I got one that is I believe it's resin or cast resin or something like that. It's really the shape of the exhaust stack, and it's gonna go on there like that. So I just use this as my basis to get my lines there. All right, to kind of do that number. And so once I get that, I will end up cutting this out slightly, kind of recess, that way it gives it more of a authentic look when the exhaust is sticking out of the cowl. Alright, so this as well, everything just like that except for the square there and the triangle thing. I don't got that there just yet. Alright, but I believe for the most part, minus the bottom of the cowl, because the cowling is right over there, so minus that, I believe I got everything, and minus the wing. But I got all this so far, except for this bottom piece. I didn't do that just yet. Alright, but yeah, so that's pretty much the panel line for the fuselage. I still need to do underneath here, and then on the left we are going to wipe it down real quick with some alcohol, and then we're gonna spray one more coat of primer. All right, Now I don't want it to be so thick, all right, because we're gonna be that's adding unnecessary weight just to get this this look, right? As long as it's a faint line and it's noticeable, I am good. All right, so we're gonna do one medium coat of primer, and then we're gonna allow that to completely dry, and then we'll wet sand it. All right, so we'll wet sand all this with the tape on, and then once we start seeing the tape being visible, then we'll peel the tape off. We should have a clean edge. All right, and with that indentation as well to represent the panel lines, not true to scale, but it would give you that look that it has panel lines. We're just gonna go with what we got, and still, at the end of the day, it's still gonna look like an awesome P40, and we're just gonna go and have fun, and everything should be good, hopefully. All right, and so this is basically the soldering iron, and this is my my brass tube on the soldering iron, and this is what I use to do these ones right here. All right, I did those right there. So far it's okay, but you could see somewhere it actually popped out the center, which is, oh well. And so it is what it is. You know, like I said, we will see how much all this will show up after paint. And then look at that right there, it popped out. You know, that's the thing, it popped that out of the center. So like I said, that's why I stopped using it. That's why I decided to try the Dremel, and unfortunately I don't want to use this size on everything else here because it really won't look right. It'll be just too big. All right, and so I don't have anything that's a tube, you know, that's real small. So instead decided to go ahead and just like Dremel a small little dot basically, and when the primer or the paint fills that in, it'll kind of soften it and kind of look just like indentations, you know, hopefully. It's not really going to matter much too, because I'm going to be weathering this as well, so yeah, it's just going to look rugged, as if the plane was in use for many years. That's the whole idea. It's not a plane that just rolled out of the factory. So yep, that's pretty much it for now. All I'm doing is giving it that look there. Yeah, that's about it for that. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 there. Alright, so let's go kind of repeat that on this side. We'll do 8 here as well. I mean, it's not going to be 100% perfect, but it is what it is. We'll start off over here. Soldering irons hot. Let's get this nice and hot there. See, my soldering iron not hot no more. It needs to get hot again. Come on. make sure there's no like adhesive residue being left behind in there. Alright. Let's see. We got all this sanded all the way to the back, so we're good there. We got a pure sanded, so we're good there as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this one off. Yeah, I'm trying not to gouge outside of this. See the madness. You see this one. This one all the way to the end. Yeah. Can't wait, because I'm gonna go and spray this thing OD green. And then the bottom that's gonna be gray, I think I'll just use regular primer. Gray primer. As a matter of fact, that I need to go get some more of though. So it is what it is. My exhaust stacks left Honolulu or arrived Honolulu on the 17th. Therefore, it should be either heading to Guam already or here. So I just keep looking, hoping that the mailman shows up with that. That way I can start with that and put the exhaust stacks while it's in this primer state. That would be cool. So my primer, like I said, is not that thick. Therefore, my panel line is not that deep. bag a little dirty. Alright, let's get started. Bullet holes. I don't know if you're going to see that. I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up or not because it is very bright out here. Alright guys, real quick, we're just going to go ahead and talk about the whole sliding canopy thing. Alright, and so as you can see, this canopy basically can slide open. Alright, now it's held by a magnet up here in the front, alright, and then it slides back up to there. Once this front piece of the canopy is glued down, you won't have to hold this front when you open it up. Alright, but right now nothing is glued in, so everything is just floating in there, just being just plopped on. Alright, now what did I use for the rail system? I went ahead and I ordered these from Amazon. Alright, and this one actually had assorted sizes in here. Right, let me just go ahead and pull one out real quick. There's so many different sizes in this thing that is I didn't know which size to get, therefore it having all these various sizes made it easier to, you know, kind of fit it in there and see what is going to be more feasible for the size of the aircraft and all that stuff. So this is pretty much what I got. For like the bigger aircrafts, you can use like the 1/4-inch type, right? But this is pretty much it, and like I said, it's the first time I ever done it, and so I attempted to do my first cut. And this is my first cut, and it's a little crooked and all that stuff, but still can be utilized depending on what you're using for your guide in the inside. Alright, and I went ahead and I just used the Dremel cutting wheel. Alright, and that's all I did was just utilize this Dremel cutting wheel on my Dremel to make the cut. It's slow, painstaking work, right? You know, let the tool do the work. Just trying to get it straight and all that stuff. But it is what it is, and I was able to go ahead and do it. And then from there, I just started fine-tuning it from. So what we're gonna do here is to show you exactly what I'm talking about. All right. So like I said, nothing here is glued in for now. All right. So I got my piece, alright, pretty much all fine-tuned. Tried to get it cut very straight, and so I put this on a vise, and little by little I just keep using the Dremel and using the flat part of the cutting wheel to keep grinding down the edge, right, and keeping it straight. And so I finally got it after a few tries, and I was able to get it to become straight. And I had to do it to the other side, kind of mimic both sides. So I got two sides of the same. And what I did on one side, well, as you can see here, I didn't go all the way through. I left this closed, alright? But this side I left it open completely, alright? That way we can slide the ball links through here. Alright, now I went ahead and I found my ball links. These are my ball links right here from my RC helicopter. Alright, I don't know if you can see it. There you go. Alright, they sell these through by packs and stuff like that. But yeah, and it comes with the nut right here in the back, right? And so that's pretty much what I'm using. And since it's round and all that, it works smoothly. All right. So as you can see, I got my rail here, and I'm just gonna take this and slide it in. You know, just like that. It just slides in right there and right here, and it won't fall out. All right, because it's exactly in line in that channel. And you can see that. Perfect. All right. So this can basically, you know, feel free to slide back and forth. And then I had to figure out how am I going to get the canopy to pretty much open far back as I can. Being the fact that these are what 12-inch lengths. All right, so 12-inch length. So I cut it in half, so 6-inch each. And there's only one of each size in this pack, so I had no room to mess up. And so that's where I got 6 inches, and that's all I was able to do. And with the P40, it's pretty straightforward because you don't have to worry about, not like the Corsair, where you gotta have the front ride a certain rail, and then the back kind of go upwards, you know, to kind of lift the canopy out. All right, so I didn't have to worry about that. Very self-explanatory, just straight, you know. The thing is with this, I want to ensure that I didn't kind of cut this and make it go too far straight, you know, because I wanted the canopy to clear up here as well. All right, so when you slide it back, it's not just dragging on the top of this piece. I want it to kind of from the closed position, kind of go upwards in a slant, so it could clear all this up here. And so I had to kind of cut this groove slightly in an angle like that. All right, so over exaggeration, like that angle. All right, but very slight. All right, and then went ahead and I cut out the side of the canopy, I mean the fuse. Alright, so this is eventually going to get glued in. I'll glue that in just like that when it's all said and done. Then my first ever sliding canopy, and I was scared, you know, to cut the canopy apart because, man, I tell you, if you mess up, at the time nobody was making any additional canopies, so it would be SOL, right? And so what I did to cut the canopy was I utilized my Lexan scissors, and that's what I use right here. These are Lexan scissors for your RC car bodies and stuff like that. And you can basically cut out. This one's curved, so any curved areas, I can, you know, follow suit, right? And so these two basically, well, all three were all joined, right? They were all pre-joined like that. And so all I did was, they had a scribe mark right there, and I carefully just cut all the way through on both front and back. All right, and yeah, don't mess up on the cut. And then also, to kind of stiffen things up, I went ahead and I made this basswood, or this is ply, this ply reinforcement rail type deal. Alright, that's just to stiffen everything up, plus it gives me support for my magnets. Alright, so this right here is my magnet, right there. I did this right here because I was actually going to put magnets here, but just this one magnet is strong, and if I did the other two, I wouldn't be able to open up the canopy. It would have been really hard. Alright, I also did this side, also made this frame just to stiffen things up, and also to an area to hold the magnet on the other side. Alright, and this is just the excess plastic from the cowling pieces. You know, when you cut out your plastic cowling and stuff, these are just some excess plastic strips that I just used. Alright, but yeah, that's it in a nutshell, guys. My pilot figure, alright, this was a pilot bust from Aces Iron. Alright, yeah, Aces of Iron. Alright, this is a pilot bust, and I went ahead and added arms and kind of like some upper thighs, you know. And on the bottom side, I got 4 magnets as well here, and 4 magnets also on the deck here. Alright, and this right here, I'm able to remove the pilot whenever I want, or just leave him in there, and all it is he just sticks in there just like that. Alright, he ain't gonna fly off, he ain't going nowhere. It's he's in there, right? And he'll always stay centered because it's only, you know, the magnets are directly in line with each other. All right, so that's pretty much the pilot figure in there. All right, just like that, and that's kind of like the look there. And during the finishing portion of this, I will eventually kind of do all that, and I did some other accessories. As you can see, this backrest, alright, this backrest is vacuum formed Lexan that I had made. Alright, so I made a plug, and then I vacuum formed this in my small vacuum table I made. Alright, then I airbrushed it and stuff. And that will go down in there just like so. And then I would just goop it in there, like that. Also, I made, it's kind of dusty right now, but I also vacuum formed my own dash panel, and I utilized the stickers that came with the actual kit. I also got some county graphics. Talking. Alright, so I got myself some Cali graphics, nomenclature sheet and stuff. Alright, these are Cali graphics right here. And I also got the Cali graphics P40 instrument panel and gauges, but I'm not going to utilize them. Alright, I think for what it is, the one that I already got made will work just fine. Alright. And so I can use this county graphic for something else later. And so also made some side rails, or these technically are my rail covers. And I got a switch here. This is for my ignition switch. Alright, that's the reason why we got a little hole right down there. All this is going to get fit in down there just like so. And then this is going to drop right in, and it's going to look like part of the aircraft, right? And so you got to turn on the ignition for the ignition. This is the ignition switch, and then this is the power for the receiver. All right. And then I got another rail cover. All right, for this side right here. All right. So that's pretty much how that goes. And then my pilot actually. And then the dash panel that goes in there. And this is a voltmeter, and that is my air gauge for the CRE tracks. Alright. So that's pretty much what I got going on there as far as the canopy in the cockpit is concerned. Excuse me. But yeah. Alright. So I just wanted to kind of also give you guys a little close up on that. Alright, moving on. Alright guys, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm trying to give it the weathered look my way. I'm not doing a wash or dirty wash or anything like that. I got in this bottle, I'm using this transparent color from US Art Supply, airbrush colors, water-based acrylic formula, and I diluted this with Windex. Alright, so the Windex as well, it helps it evaporate quicker and stuff and dries out. So what I'm going to do is everything is all freehand, and I'm just going to spray where the rivets are at, real light. I'm not trying to really make it harsh, and plus since it's transparent, it helps with the subtleness. Alright, and you can barely see it on the camera. If you do, then awesome. Then I'm just gonna highlight some of the ribs very lightly, kind of fading out to the tip. Kind of heavy at the start and then fade out to the tip. That's pretty much it. Barely see it. If you can, then that'll be awesome. But yeah, just a very, very light mist coat, basically. I mean, you can use this at your own discretion, how much you want to kind of dirty up the model. I got my paint, and I'm just gonna go over a lot of these panel lines, just freehand, really lightly. Alright, so just a real faint line, you know. I use my balsa as my edge just to kind of give it more of a cleaner look, you know, like that. I don't know if you can see that. Give it a real subtle look, alright? Not harsh. I'm not having a hard line. Really subtle look, and then we'll just kind of blend it in, you know, give it a little character, just like so. And see how that just brought that panel out. All right. So we're gonna do that throughout the whole aircraft, basically. And you can use anything as your template, really, just to give yourself something if you're not good at freehand. Alright, so freehand, basically we're just gonna airbrush your line just like that, you know, real easy. And for here, just kind of give it that look, just kind of accent the panel itself here, kind of bring it all up to the horizontal stab, kind of dirty in the front end of that. Alright, and we're just going to continue doing this throughout the whole aircraft. Alright, just kind of bringing out these panel lines. You could do like in the model world, we do what they call dirty wash. Alright, they actually got some pigments or some paints and stuff like that. It's actually for washes, diluted with some water and some alcohol, you know, to your liking. So many ways of doing stuff if you want to do a dirty wash type deal. Alright, so I'm going to keep doing this procedure. We're mainly right now just highlighting all the panels. Alright, and once we finish highlighting all these panels, we can actually start really adding some more weathering in there. And the use of tape, once again, like I said, it is there to, especially like long lines like this. Alright, let's go see where we're at here. Long lines, normally it's hard to get it done freehand, especially you got the whole span of the fuselage, if you know what I mean. Alright, so I'll tend to use masking tape to get this done. It's kind of hard to see. Everything is OD green, so just make sure that I got this. Let's see. I'm a little bit too low there. So just like that, I'm pretty much getting close to just your basic dirtying up and stuff. Alright. kind of dirtying up the plane. Just kind of filling in all that. There's no actual pattern here. There's a lot of different ways to do this, and like I said, I'm just sharing what I'm doing. If it's right or wrong, it is what it is. This is the look that I'm trying to achieve on my own. So a mixture of freehand and masking to give the look. Alright. This one I gotta see where the dang panel line's at. Getting old, my eyesight is not all that great anymore to a certain degree. Alright. And so from here we're going to go ahead and we're just going to mask up some of these panel lines right here. Alright, so I'm just going to start off with this. Alright, and we're just going to spray basically this piece right here. It's kind of up, majority once again on the tape. That's pretty much that it. Alright. Majority on the tape. Eventually all this can get dirtied up type deal. Alright? Doing that. Also do this panel line right here. So gotta make sure we kind of following what we did on the other side as well. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and put this right here. Some right there. Give it that look. Just like that. And then if it's too, like I said, if it's too harsh, where did I put my rag? There. Then you just take the Windex and the flow of air, right? You just kind of do this number just to give it that flow. that's it. There's, like I said, there's tons of different techniques out there. Model masters out there who do this for a living or compete, you know all the tricks, ins and outs. I'm just your typical hobbyist who just want to try things for my own personal use, my own personal models. Alright? Dry up that Windex a bit. Now it is not as harsh. Alright? So if you accidentally put too much, you spray too much, use whatever cleaner that for your paint. Alright? I know for a fact that Windex is not going to remove the paint, the Rustnoleum OD green that is sprayed. So I know I'm good with that. If you know that that particular cleaner or whatever will affect your main paint, do not use it to clean off your excess and stuff. So be mindful, do test panels and stuff like that when you're gonna do something like this. That way you don't screw up your main paint and then have to go back to the drawing board just to do that. Alright guys, so I got these marks that I purposely made. Alright, so I purposely gouged into the fiberglass and the balsa underneath. Alright, it's not gonna affect the flying characteristics of this paint, trust me. Alright, so other than that, you can see here I got my barbecue skewer pretty much hole right through that. Alright, and this one is just grazed, gouged just a tad bit. And then I went ahead and I filled it up with this Krylon paint. I think this is enamel. Yep. And then I also got the Krylon black. It's not focusing. Focus. Too close, maybe. I don't know. Let's go back it out. There you go. So, got this at the local hardware store. And so what I'm gonna do is with the black, I'm gonna kind of fill in right at the hole where the bullet hole is supposed to be, right? And by doing this, it kind of gives depth to that area, and then eventually we will soften all that up to kind of give it more of an aged look. And so from here, I'm gonna stick the hole with some black, just like that. All right. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do the same with the other side. Just kind of add some black paint right smack where the actual hole should have been, or should be. And there you go. And we'll do that to the other two. Alright, and that's basically just to give it depth, kind of give it that illusion. And you could do the typical bullet hole type graphics that you see like on some of your cars. This some cars, they got those stickers for the bullet holes. Well, you could do that kind of bullet hole, but for what it is on an aircraft like that, you're not going to see that kind of bullet hole in real life. You more like see scrapes or ricochets and stuff like that, and or gouges and stuff. So that's pretty much my bullet hole right there. And I got a little scratch there. That's alright. And I'm gonna take care of the bullet hole that I also made on the horizontal stab right here. Alright. So I also got one right there. Alright. This one right here was made by by accident, really. Yeah, this one was by accident. I did that one. I forgot what was I doing. So just doing like that, and then we'll go ahead and I put too much black there. It's alright, because we can easily just come back and kind of dab it just like that. There you go. Just let that dry. Forgot what I was doing and I made that hole by accident. But well, it's alright. Made the hole by accident and just made it into a bullet hole. And then I kind of did it where it looked like it hit here and then kind of, you know, ricochet over there. But alright, so that's pretty much the bullet hole. I'll probably do some bullet holes in the wing as well. But alright guys, so what we're gonna do is the outline of the shark teeth. And I am not using this particular design. It's the one that I posted on the groups. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And so I got my chart tape here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and outline it. All right. I'm using the chart tape to do all my outlines for this. And then I will mask off the rest. Alright. Pretty much like that. Then I'll just remove this and remove this. There you go. And that is going to be my outline for my shark teeth. Yay! Alright. Let's go look at it from a distance here. See it? Can you see it? Because I can see it. Okay, maybe a little tweak in here. Right here should kind of bubble out more. But you know what? We're good. Okay. That'll work for me. Alright, so this is my template that I used to draw the outline of that, and then I end up using the chart tape to kind of tape it up, right? And so I'm gonna go ahead and use this, and I'm gonna draw in my shark teeth and how I actually want it. Alright, so I'm gonna make it look wicked, you know, give it that aggressive looking, you know, teeth. It's not gonna be three-dimensional or anything like that. I'm still gonna keep it kind of realistic to the actual warbird, but I'm gonna draw it out based on the photo, and we'll cut it out on masking tape, you know, or even better yet, vinyl sticker, right? And because I could use the cry cut and actually draw this out on the cry cut and have it cut it. Alright guys, so we're spraying basically. We're spraying the red for the shark teeth. I'm using Wicked colors. Alright, this is the Wicked airbrush paint. That is Wicked red. And yeah, pretty much what it is. I'm just building it up. Building it up real quick, just let it dry for a little bit, and then we'll just continue. You can also use your heat gun, kind of force dry it, but I ain't no rush, so go ahead and just little by little, just take care of it, knock it out. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and let that one cure, or not cure, but dry up a little. While we're waiting for that, we'll just go ahead and put another coat on this side. Alright guys, I'll do this off camera and then we'll come right back. Go ahead and remove this side here on the masking. Shaking. So I'm trying not to gouge any more of that red like I did there, and I'm also trying not to. Okay, there you go. Somewhat. Alright, it is what it is. Got to clean it up a little bit. Alright, so that's that. I have to clean, and we're going to weather this as well. kind of match the rest of the plane. Alright guys, so there is the eyeball now. Now I think it's more of the part. I think it looks better now with the big eyeball. Yeah, the big eyeball compared to the small one. All right, so we good there. Just look in the port. Rawr. The shark doesn't go rawr. Alright guys, check this out. We got something that came in the mail today. I've been waiting for this, and this is from JP Warbirds. Man, brother, I appreciate it, man. Look at that. It just came in. What is that? Exhaust stacks for the 1/7 scale top flight P40E Warhawk. Look at that. Let me see if I can put this on. Barbecue skewer. I don't know if you can see that. Look at that. Awesome. Awesome. Exhaust stack. That is so cool. Alright. Alright guys, so as you can see the opening there, the front here is just a piece of balsa like this that's glued to the back side, and then the back side here I put this 1/8 square stock basically right in the corners to give it, to drop this further down. And then I also put a piece of filler block right here. The reason why I put the filler block, as you can see this one right here, I'm actually shaving, sanding this to a bevel, and therefore since it's only 1/8 thick, if I didn't put nothing back there, I would have sanded this to a pulp. Basically, I would end up opening up the hole because I'll be sanding it. By the time I get a bevel, the front leading edge here will be so thin that it'll just break. Alright, so that's the reason why I got a stock here, just in case if I need to sand this 1/8 sheeting at the top here, I would still have another 1/8 sheeting below it. Alright, and so that's where we're at now. Alright, so that's what I'm doing right now, is I'm sanding this little area here. Alright, and while I'm doing all this, is I'm also trying to prevent from scratching or sanding my current work that is done already. Alright, and if I do, it's no big deal. One thing about this paint, you know, the Rustnoleum. You just spray it in a cup. Alright, take your spray can, shake it up, spray it in a cup, and then use your paintbrush, and you can touch up. And once it's dry, you will never know that I even used the paintbrush with a rattle can paint. Alright, so a lot of your small little scratches and stuff like that, if you wanted to go ahead and touch it up, just go ahead and spray it inside a mixing cup like this. Just spray it in an angle, you know, and make it build up. Then you get your paintbrush, and you can come back and you can start touching up all your edges and all that stuff, and you won't even tell. You won't even tell. Alright guys, so we're basically putting some Zap Z epoxy finishing resin and basically dilute it with some denatured alcohol. Alright, and all I'm doing is just sealing up the wood, all the bare wood in here, so that way we don't have to glass this thing. And we are not even close to done. Alright, we still gotta attack the wing, we gotta primer it up, panel lines, rivets, weather, all that good stuff. Same thing as we did with the fuselage. The fuselage, we still need to go ahead and tackle some other things just to get this thing completed and to look the part. I appreciate you guys for sticking around this long throughout the whole build series from start to basically almost finish. Alright, so we'll basically knock it out in part 7 of the Top Flite P40E Warhawk build series, and once we're done with that, we'll get everything all ready for its maiden flight. If not this weekend, it'll be guaranteed next weekend for the maiden. Alright, so you guys, it's not too long, stick around and hold on, we're almost done. Alright, you guys, have a good one. See you in the next video. Sheesh.